Okay guys, we're back again with another prop firm review video. I know you guys love these, and as I promised before, today we're looking at GOAT funded trader. It's one we've talked about a little bit in the past, and they've made it on some of our lists. So we thought, let's have a deeper look and see what these guys are all about. So with that being said, we're going to be doing the same thing as we have done for all of our prop firm review videos. We're going to be looking at 4 different criteria. Number 1, we're going to be looking at the rules and the regulations of the challenges themselves. And we're going to be specifically looking at the 100K and the 2-step, because that's what we have done across the board for all the others. The second thing we're going to look at is the company overview. The third thing we're going to be looking at is the trading conditions. Just have a general look at what the conditions are like. And then finally, we're going to be looking at any unique perks or anything that they do differently if that is the case. So with that being said, guys, let's get straight in and go to the actual challenges and have a look at the rules for these guys. Now, before I actually do jump straight into that, I do want to make sure that you guys understand that we are not in any way affiliated with any of these prop firms that we do reviews for. We just do these reviews because we are in the prop firm industry ourselves, in terms of we basically offer a product where we help our clients get funded with prop firms. And as a result, we get a lot of data from a lot of different prop firms across the board, and as such we do reviews for all of these prop firms, because not only does it help our own clients out, but it also helps anyone else that is looking to sign up for any of these prop firms. I mean, we just want to put all the information we can so that you guys can make the best possible decisions when it comes to actually signing up. So with that being said, let's go in and have a look at these guys 2-step. Okay, so they've got a very clean website. I like their website looks very good. So let's just have a look here. They've got this cool feature where they've got this light that tracks your can get sidetracked. But anyway, we are looking at 2-step. So they've got your normal swap fee. We're just going to look at the normal. We're going to look at the 2-step. Now they have some options within the 2-step. They've got the GOAT, which is the most popular, which I think is the kind of the standard. Then they've got one called no time limit, and then one called swing. Obviously, we're not going to look at swing. Then they offer these 2 platforms, Match Trader and Trade Locker. So those are the 2 platforms that they offer. Now, the interesting thing I do want to point out, if we go to the 100K, because that's one we're looking at, and you're on the GOAT, for example, when you switch between Match Trader and Trade Locker, the price does change, which is actually quite interesting. I'm not sure why that is. Is Trade Locker a better overall platform to be doing it on? Maybe that's why. Maybe there's a few more features within that, and that's the reason. Okay, so let's just stick to Match Trader for now, because that's not what we're looking at. Now, the interesting thing is they have the popular, the one called GOAT, which is your target is 8% for phase 1. It's 6% for phase 2, which is interesting because normally it's 4 or 5% for phase 2, but they've gone with a 6% target for phase 2. Their daily drawdown is 4%. Again, interesting because sometimes it is 5%. The maximum drawdown is 10%, which is normal. Trading period, no time limit, which is interesting. And then leverage 150, profit split, I think it starts on 80%. Now they have options when you actually check out. You can do all these different add-ons. So you can add on a higher profit split, but it's going to cost you a little bit more money. We'll talk about the add-ons later. So the next thing I wanted to mention is this no time. Why I say this interesting is because they have one called no time limit, but this one doesn't have a time limit either. So I don't understand what the difference is. And when I do click across, the only difference I can see is that firstly, on the no time limit, your target is 10% versus on the GOAT, you have 8%. On the phase 2, on the no time limit, it's 5%. So it's weird. It's higher on phase 1, but lower on phase 2. And then the next thing I notice is that the daily drawdown is higher on the no time limit, and your maximum remains the same. And on the no time limit, you have leverage of up to 1 to 100, which would be for the Forex, whereas on the GOAT, it's 1 to 50. So, I mean, not a huge amount of difference. I suppose you've just got to figure out exactly how it is you're trading at, what you're looking for. But I would suggest just going for the popular. It's a little bit cheaper and your target is lower. You have to only hit 10%, and you do have 1% extra on the phase 2. But I suppose if you're hitting the 8% in phase 1, you should be able to hit the phase 2 6%. So generally speaking, I would say the GOAT is probably the one to go for, and probably for that reason I think it is the most popular, as it says. So nothing too special there. The cool thing is they do also have a no consistency rule, no time limits, which, you know, I spoke about. They've got a lot of payment options, right? You can use Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and different cryptos as well. But I did also see somewhere, I think it was on this one over here, that they actually talk about payment methods, one of them being PayPal. Now that was actually when I recently did a news, like some breaking news about Goat Funded, it was that in particular. Now, whether they've actually brought that in or not, but if they are going to be bringing in PayPal, that is huge, you know, to be able to use PayPal to not only pay for challenges, but also receive your payouts. That's quite a big one. And they also have things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, crypto. So a lot of options when it comes to the payment methods, which is very cool. So that definitely, I think, needs to go into one of the kind of unique perks, because I think this is the most options I've seen on any prop firm. I think some of them now are trying to open up how many you can use. So that's my the rules and the regulations. That's kind of, you know, I think it's standard. It's nothing too crazy. Their price is pretty good. Now, when you do go to the trade locker, it's $413. Bearing in mind that most are around the $500 mark. If you go to the match trade, if you're willing to trade with match trader, $398. That's not bad. Not bad at all for a 100K challenge, right? So pretty good. I'm looking at some of these. We will be talking about these soon as well. Now, they are in-house tech, so which means they are controlling all of the things themselves. I think in terms of the broker, I think they use the match trade feed. I think so, depending on which of these you use, that's the feed you're using. So they've got a comparison table over here, having a look at the different ones. So that's something you can look at yourself. Oh, this is the other thing. So their first payout, quite interesting, is on demand. You can take your first pay. So once you've been funded, the second you get any kind of profit, you can take your first payout. Now, I think there is a limit, like you've got to be, you can't take like $10 or something like that. I think there is a limit. So you've got to be above, I don't know, maybe like $500 or whatever it is. And then you can just request that straight away. And I think that's when you will get your refund as well, which is pretty cool. Now to get, after that, it goes to a monthly profit split. And if you want a bi-weekly, again, that is an add-on that you have to put in the checkout. So this is something you need to think of when looking at this price, right? Sometimes when you see this price, you're like, wow, that's really cheap. But in order to get this account to the same place as a lot of the other prop firms as standard, which are costing you around $450 to $500, you have got to do the add-ons, which so it ends up costing about the same. That's something to bear in mind. So don't just jump on board because you see that price. This is the price they're showing you because they're trying to attract you, right? So you've got to be aware that if you are getting your challenge to where you want it, it could be costing you about $500 as well. So, but overall, I think, you know, rules and regulations is kind of standard. I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10 for the rules and regulations because it's standard, nothing too new, but I think it's good. I think it's kind of right down the middle, everything you want to see from a prop firm's rules and regulations. I have been looking through the frequently asked questions a little bit. Things like trading news, you can trade news, you can trade over the weekend. They've got a very good frequently asked questions section. So if you want to come have a look, you can have a look at that. One thing they do also mention is you can use EAs, comply, as long as the EAs comply with prohibited trading rules. It's the same as all the ones we always see. However, you are not allowed to use high frequency trading strategies and gold arbitrage EA. So I think, you know, just making sure that you are aware of, if you have an EA, that you're not going against any of those. There's a lot here. There's a lot of stuff you can come in and have a look at, guys. So make sure you check all this out, have a look, take the time to look through the frequently asked questions. Frequently asked questions are a very good section to come and study if you are looking at signing up, because, you know, you're answering a lot of questions you probably would be looking at anyway. So I think that's it, guys. I think, like I said, 7 out of 10 for the Goat Funded in terms of their rules and regulations and the actual challenges. Okay, so next up, guys, we're looking at the company overview. So let's have a look. I've jumped over here to propfirmmatch.com because they give a little bit of information on each company as well. So you can see over here that they were established back in May 2023. So not very old, a fairly new company, something worth bearing in mind. We always got to be very careful of the brand new companies. Not that's a bad thing, but you've got to, you know, give them time to kind of like settle as well. They are situated in Spain from what this says. And then everything else we've covered. Now the payout methods. So I think I talked about the payment methods before, and I think the PayPal, all the Google Pay, Apple Pay, all of those kind of things is how you can actually pay for your challenge, right? So I don't think that is the payout method. So the payout method is only Rise. So that's something to bear in mind. But, you know, it'd be cool if eventually they give you the option to also pay out in some of the other options as well. Whether or not that will be a thing, I don't know. What else can we see? So we can see the CEO, according to this, is someone by the name of Eduardo Dalla Torre, or I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. But when I come over to X and I have a look, it's the CEO is someone who goes by the name of Edward XL, CEO of Goat Funded Trader. Okay, so Edward, I'm sure it's the same person. Now he seems like a fairly young guy. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's always something we always say, you know, it's something that needs to be taken into consideration when it is young people who kind of jump on and do these things. Now, the kind of posts he's doing is, he talks about, I went from 20K in debt to being a multi-millionaire at the age of 23. I don't know, you got to look at sort of the things these guys are posting, because sometimes they can be red flag. I'm not saying that they are, but I think it's something that you've got to take into consideration. Is this the type of guy that is kind of in it just for the money, or do you think he's going to run a prop firm really well? When you see things like that, when he says, I went from 20K in debt, why was he in debt? Hopefully that wasn't another failed company that put him into 20K debt. Kind of like, it's some ways it's like you got to read into these things. And the point of the post is that he's giving you lessons on how to not make the mistakes he's made, which is fair enough. What are the 3 best confluencers? So that's just talking about trading strategies, what's behind best prop firms, 3 must-haves for opening a prop firm. So he's talking about how to open a prop firm, which I don't know. I don't think, I think everyone wants to open a prop firms, but whether they should or not, that's a different story. So, I'm not going to read in too much, but from what I can see, it's a fairly young guy. So if I just pop back over to the website, you can see they've got like this timeline. So 2022, the founders began with comprehensive market research to establish the company in Spain. So that confirms that it is located in Spain. And then in 2023 is when it was actually launched, which is what we saw. So back in May 2023 is when it was launched, and by October they already had 10,000 traders. So that's very interesting client testimonials. So yeah, in general, looks pretty good. But one thing we do have to also look at is we need to look at the Trustpilot review. Okay, so looking at this, guys, they have had 1,554, which is a fair amount for a fairly new company, but they're sitting on 4.1. Now, we've definitely seen better than that. So their 1-star rating is on 15%, which is a little bit worrying, right? Verified company and all of that. So if we just click on the 1 stars and just have a look, talking about swing trader, daily drawdown, account failed. So I think this is obviously to do with the fact that their daily drawdown is equity based. They say equity and balance, but it is actually equity based. So maybe people get caught out, paid but received no account. Always good experience, blah, blah, blah. So now one thing I do want to take note of here as well, guys. A lot of these are 17 hours a day ago, 3 days. So some of these are fairly recent. A lot of these are actually fairly recent, and they've not had any response yet from Goat Funded. Okay, apart from here, back on August the 10th, there was a reply. So they are replying to some, but not all. So interesting to see that. Can't recommend Goat Funded trading, place a limit order. We're trying to get in contact with you. So they are contacting people. So it looks like they are making contact, but maybe not very quickly. It's good to see that they do make contact with people that are, on the reviews. If you look here, I think you generally do see some responses as well, but it doesn't seem like they're responding to everyone, in particular the people that are rating the 1 star. So something to take note of, that they're above four stars, which is still, I would say, still decent, but the 1 star is a little bit on the high side for a company that's only been around for as long as they have. So for me, I think just overall, the company overview, they have got a good, very, very good website, but that doesn't really make you a good company. From the most part, I've not seen too much in the way of people complaining. Apart from here on Trustpilot, you see a little bit of stuff with people complaining. But overall, I'm going to go for a 7 out of 10. I don't think I could go much higher just because I think they're still very, very new to the game. There's a lot of things that I would normally say are red flags. Like, for example, a younger CEO. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's something that I have to take into consideration. Some of the things he does post, you got to think to yourself, why is he posting some of those things on X? But it's, fair enough. It's, he's talking about, he isn't in the prop firm industry, so he's going to be posting about prop firm related stuff, but maybe I just read into it differently. So for my thing, I'm going to go 7 out of 10 for the company overview. Okay, guys, so now let's talk about trading conditions. Now, like I said before, the only thing I really have to go on is what they say on the website. Now, I can't actually vouch for this 100% because normally they give you a demo account. I could not find a demo from this. Even normally on the prop firm match, they will actually give you how to log into the demo account. Now, I don't think they have a demo account, so it's very difficult to actually judge or get an idea of how their trade conditions are without actually signing up, which I was considering doing, and I might still do that. Might sign up for a smaller account, just trade it and see how it goes. So I might do an update on this one to talk more about the actual conditions, the trading conditions. But they do mention that they have got lightning fast trade executions, raw spreads starting from 0 pips. So the spreads and their trade conditions in terms of the actual execution and slippage seems to be good, because even on the Trustpilot reviews, the ones that are bad, I didn't really see anyone complaining about that. I didn't see anyone complaining about trade conditions. I saw people complaining about other issues, not getting their accounts in time, maybe the drawdown, the daily drawdown limit, how that's judged on, equity, and maybe losing their accounts because of something like that. So not really people complaining specifically about the trade conditions, which is a good thing. So, it's difficult to judge. So from my point of view, I'm going to give it I'm just going to go with a 7 out of 10, because I can't go too high because I'm not able to test it myself. And again, I can't really go too low because I can't really judge that 100%. But like I said, I'm going to be signing up for a small account just to trade it for like a month and to just see myself how the trade conditions are. And then I will come back and I'll do a part 2 of this where I'm specifically talking about trade conditions, okay? Before we do go finally to the final one, which is unique perks, I want to talk about our incredible EA called Titan X and Titan AC, which is coupled with our incredible prop farming blueprint. Now, this is an EA inspired by AI, which essentially gets our traders funded. Now, at this point, we've got over 900 of our community funded with a prop firm, and a large portion of those have also received payouts. So we know it works, and it is constantly being updated. It's constantly making sure that it is ready to trade any trade conditions. So however the market is, whatever's happening, our EA trades that accordingly. And also, the rules and regulations and stuff for these prop firms are getting tougher, and that is all taken into account. It's constantly getting better and better. We also have a hedging bot now that essentially hedges everything you do. So make sure you go to www.propfarming.com, where you can fill out an application form and we will get back to you. It's a great product, and make sure you don't miss it. So the final thing I'm going to be looking at, guys, is unique perks and special features. And to be honest, I couldn't really find anything in particular that is unique or any special features on this. I mean, they've got a cool dashboard. They've got a nice site, but that's not enough to warrant me actually giving them a high rating on that. So for that, I'm just going to give a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. There's not really anything in particular that is extremely unique. Yes, they have brought in some new payment methods, but looking further into that is just ways that you can pay them. So essentially, they're making it easier for you to give them money, which isn't really anything unique to us, the traders, right? I think if anything, yes, that's big news. They're bringing PayPal, so it's going to be easier to buy a challenge, but that could be a problem if they start failing a lot of people or refusing payouts in the future. All that means is they have it way easier to actually take money, but they're not giving you any money back. So not necessarily that unique. Initially, I thought it was a way that they could actually pay us, but that isn't the case. They only have one method. If eventually they make those platforms that we can pay to take the challenges available to actually receive as well, like PayPal, then I think that would be a very unique perk, and I would definitely re-evaluate my mark. But for me, 6 out of 10. Nothing really unique, nothing exciting, nothing special. So, but GoatFunded looks like a good firm overall. Apart from the not really having anything unique, it looks like a good firm. So far, I've seen good things. I think they are still very new, so we're just going to watch the space and kind of see how they go. If you guys have used them, if you guys have any good experiences, any bad experiences, would love you to share that with us, because the more we hear back from you guys, the more we can kind of like give that information out as well. So, but like I said, I will be doing a follow-up to this one where I'm actually taking a small challenge to just have a look at how it actually runs in the background. So that is going to be more specific to the trade conditions. So make sure you watch out for that. With that being said, guys, that's it. That's GoatFunded. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found value. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. We've got a lot more of this content coming, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.